The answers you seek are not hidden in the noise of the world, but whispered in the silence of your own heart. And that is the thought for today. Welcome to 7 Good Minutes. I'm Clyde Lee Dennis. Thanks for joining me for what I believe will be 7 of the most enriching minutes of your day. In today's episode of 7 Good Minutes, we talk about powerful journaling questions that unlock your inner wisdom. Enjoy. There's something magical that happens when we put pen to paper with intention. Not the hurried scribbling of to-do lists or the mechanical note-taking of meetings, but the kind of writing that opens a doorway between our conscious mind and the deeper wisdom that lives within us. By the end of this episode, you'll have 5 transformative journaling prompts that can cut through mental fog and connect you with the clarity you've been seeking. These aren't just questions to answer, they're invitations to discover parts of yourself you may have forgotten and pathways to insights that can shift how you see your life. We live in a world that's constantly asking for our attention, pulling us in 1,000 different directions. Our minds become cluttered with other people's opinions, society's expectations, and the endless stream of information that flows through our days. In all this noise, we can lose touch with our own inner voice, our own truth, our own knowing. Journaling creates a sacred space where that inner voice can finally be heard. It's like clearing away the debris from a wellspring that's always been there, waiting to offer its wisdom. When we ask ourselves the right questions and give ourselves permission to answer honestly, we often discover that we already know more than we think we do. The first prompt I want to share with you is this: what would I do if I trusted myself completely? This question cuts through self-doubt and fear, inviting you to imagine a version of yourself that operates from confidence rather than hesitation. As you write, don't censor yourself. Let your hand move across the page and see what emerges. You might be surprised by the clarity that comes when you remove the filter of what's realistic or what others might think. The second prompt is, what am I pretending not to know? This one can be particularly powerful because it addresses the truths we sometimes avoid. Maybe it's about a relationship that isn't serving you, a career path that doesn't align with your values, or a dream you've been too afraid to pursue. When we acknowledge what we're pretending not to know, we reclaim our power to act on that knowledge. Here's the third prompt. If my life were a book, what chapter am I in, and what needs to happen for the next chapter to begin? This question helps you step back and see your life from a broader perspective. It invites you to consider where you've been, where you are now, and where you're heading. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day details that we lose sight of the larger story we're writing with our choices. The fourth prompt is, what would love do in this situation? This question can transform how you approach challenges and decisions. Instead of operating from fear, scarcity, or ego, you're invited to consider what the highest version of yourself would choose. Love here doesn't mean being passive or avoiding difficult conversations. Sometimes love requires courage, boundaries, and difficult choices. The final prompt I'll share is, what am I grateful for that I haven't acknowledged lately? Gratitude has a way of shifting our entire perspective, but often we focus on the big, obvious things. This question invites you to notice the subtle gifts, the small kindnesses, the everyday miracles that we might take for granted. As you write, you might find yourself remembering moments of beauty, connection, or grace that had slipped from your awareness. The power of these prompts isn't just in answering them once. Return to them regularly, perhaps choosing one each week to explore deeply. You'll find that your answers change as you grow and evolve. What feels true today might reveal new layers of meaning tomorrow. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to journal. Some days your writing might flow like a river. Other days it might feel more like squeezing water from a stone. Both are valuable. The act of showing up to the page, of creating space for your inner voice, is what matters most. Your journal is a place where you can be completely honest, completely yourself. It's where you can explore your dreams without judgment, process your fears without shame, and celebrate your growth without having to explain it to anyone else. In a world that often asks us to be someone else, journaling is a practice of coming home to who we really are. Trust the process, trust your inner wisdom, and trust that the act of asking these questions is already beginning to create the clarity you seek. Your answers are waiting for you, just beneath the surface of your everyday awareness, ready to guide you toward the life that's truly yours to live. That does it for today's episode of 7 Good Minutes. please take a moment to rate and review the show on the platform you're listening on. Until next time, let's be civil to one another out there. Thanks for listening.